So this first video, let me rearrange the camera so you can see the title. I traveled around the Netherlands. These things shocked me. So it's an American traveling through the Netherlands. It's a video from a while ago, like about half a year ago, a little bit more, but about 6 months, let's say. And indeed, and you might think like, who is this guy, this flop birdie, to react to something happening in the Netherlands? Well, to be honest with you, I'm not from the Netherlands, but I'm from Belgium, so it's a neighbor country, and actually have a major in like Dutch culture, history, literature, all that good stuff. So I know a thing or two about the Netherlands. So I might have quite a good insight in these things, and if to see if this, this shocked reaction of this guy are like really shocking, or just because he's an American and traveling to Europe, it's just a different culture, and that's why. So let's get into this, right?
What's going on, guys? JPS back for another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the biggest cultural shocks I got
This
from visiting the
is
Netherlands
what I was
for the
talking about.
first
Yeah.
time this past summer. If you haven't already, make sure you go watch my Netherlands vlogs. Those are going to be some of the most recent videos on my channel at this point. I had an
Okay.
amazing time visiting this small, beautiful country. And that's actually the first cultural shock that I want to
Hmm.
start out with is the opposite end of the Netherlands to the opposite end, north to south. And it will take longer to travel through a state in the United States, just a singular state, and possibly double or even triple the time if we're talking about one of our bigger states. So that is just such a big shock. The fact that I can go Amsterdam to Utrecht and I'm there like 35 minutes on the train. The fact that I'm going Amsterdam to
True.
Harlem and I'm there 10 minutes on the train. That just blows my mind. And it's not like I'm just visiting, a neighboring city. Like these are completely different places. If you
It's
compare
true.
Amsterdam and
Yeah.
Harlem, it's literally a night and day difference. And that's from someone visiting Netherlands for the first time. So
To be honest with you, it's like the same in Belgium. Belgium is even smaller, and if you travel from city to city, it will take you like 2 to 3 hours, like maximum, if you use a train or something like that. So yeah, it's quite similar, or even with the car, because the highways here are, especially during the week, can be a lot of traffic. So it might take you 2 to 3 hours to travel from one side of the country to the other one. But yeah, it's a similar thing here in Belgium.
the differences would be even more apparent if I had spent more time there. This proximity between cities is super nice and convenient, and it makes it
It
very
is.
easy to travel. And also, when you're traveling, use the public transportation, which is going to be my next point, the public transportation in the Netherlands. Guys, I was more than impressed with the public transportation. I thought that the no contact payment, you literally just tap your card when you're going in and tap your card when you're going out.
It's basically like a card that you have to charge. Let's say you put money on the card, like 10 euros or something like that, or 20, or and you just scan it, and it will withdraw money from the card, through the card. So we have like a similar system here in Belgium slash Flanders, because of the complicated situation here. It might be different in Brussels or in Wallonia, but yeah, the systems are similar. You just charge, and I would say that the public transport here in Belgium is not as great as it is in the Netherlands. But for example, I don't own a car. I just travel through bus, tram, train, metro, stuff like that. So yeah, it's just easy and convenient. It's cheap. I pay like 30 bucks, 30 euros per month for tram and bus. And so compared to owning your own car, that's like 10% of, or even less, like 5 to 10% of what you pay for a car every month.
You can definitely buy a train ticket or some type of pass, and that works
Yeah.
just fine. But that convenience, coming off the flight and I don't have to think about how I'm going to get on the train. I literally just tap it. It's so much easier than using the metro system here in Washington, D.C. It's a complete
Okay.
pain. You have to go on this outdated system to
Hmm.
try and purchase a ticket.
Yeah.
There's no tap and pay like that. It's not that simple. So everything was very new. Like all of the technology and things, everything felt very developed, up to date, well taken care of. I don't think a single train was late. And if it was,
I will say trains. trams and buses will be late from time to time in Belgium. There, sometimes there's a strike going on. Like now we are 12th of April, 2025, and we have had like 20 strikes this year or something like that. That's exceptional, but still, we do have quite some strikes compared to the Netherlands. And like I said, like trains, trams, and buses can be late. This outdated system that he was talking about in DC, I still we think have it. Like you can still buy a ticket from some kind of stand, like with cash money, but on the same time you can pay with different systems. You can use your bank card to tap a machine on the trams or on the buses. You can buy a ticket by SMS, like a texting service. We call it SMS. So yeah, so there's different systems like modern ones to pay as well.
It was never worth noticing or really mentioning. Like everything was very punctual, not just with the trains,
Okay.
but just how Dutch society moves, of course. And that's something I really appreciated because I'm someone who always likes to be on time and get to where I want to be. So it was very easy to do that when I was traveling throughout the Netherlands. Of course, when you didn't have public transportation, the best way to get around most cities was just to walk. It was
Hmm.
literally faster to walk maybe from one point of a city to another, and a pretty significant walk too. Like we're talking 15 to 20 minutes than it was to
Yeah.
take a car, because the society in Netherlands is meant for walking. It's meant for
Mm,
biking. It's not
yep.
it's
It's
not
true.
meant for cars really. I mean, there's cars of course, and I'm not saying that you can't have a car there, but it's really not necessary. Like I don't if I lived in the Netherlands, I don't know if I would need a car at all. Like I don't even know if it would be a
Oops.
consideration because there's just the public transportation infrastructure is so well planned out and it's just so extensive throughout the country. You can really get anywhere on a bike for sure. And then also walking is not too bad. And of course, the trains, the trams, the boats, there's just a million ways to get around. Another thing I really enjoyed
Yeah.
about my Dutch experience was the cafe culture. Before
Hmm.
this trip, I was
True.
not a coffee person. It gets me too hyper anxious. I'm always jittering around, but on this trip I gave it a try because I was like, where am I going to use the bathroom? And
Mm-hmm.
cafe is a great
Cafes.
place
Yeah.
to plop down for,
Which is basically
30
like a
minutes, an
bar,
hour,
right?
whatever the case is. Take a little break from the day, use the bathroom, get some water, all those things. It's really an all in one. And
Okay.
I
Yeah.
had never really understood the cafe culture. I never understood why chairs lined the street and people just sat there with their little cups and watching life as it goes on. But now that I've done it a few times and gone to a bunch of different cafes in the Netherlands, I really love it. And cafes are not the same here in the United States at all.
They're
I really
probably not.
appreciated just taking a nice little break from the day. It's a great place to socialize, have a conversation with someone, and also to get a cup of coffee. I did like the
Yeah.
coffee. I was getting lots of shots of espresso.
Hmm.
But I think the coffee culture and cafe culture in the United States is quite different. We're much more of a to-go based culture. So it's
Yeah.
like, you
Starbucks.
run
Right.
into Starbucks, you run into
Exactly.
Dunkin' Donuts. And of course, these are chains that I'm mentioning. A lot of the cafes that I went to in the Netherlands were local businesses, which I appreciated a ton because why the hell do I want to support Starbucks? Like, let me just get like, and also a lot of the coffees in the United States are really just sugar. Like,
Mm.
mocha, frappuccino, cappuccino, latte. Like, bro, that has 40
Caramel
grams of sugar
macchiato,
in it.
right?
It's literally just a bunch of syrup drizzled on
Mm-hmm.
some whipped cream on top of a high fructose corn syrup mixed with water inside of like a 2 cent plastic cup, and that's $6. Quality, right? Huge difference. Cafe culture in the Netherlands, I
Hmm.
loved it.
All
I'm
right.
somewhat of a tall person. At least I thought I was. I say I'm 6'2". I'm close. I'm on the fringe of that.
Mm.
But in the Netherlands, I was average at best. Like they're just absolute monsters, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. I'm not saying monsters like that, but people are really tall, like
Oh
ridiculously
yeah.
tall. Like, I'll see someone riding a bike, and they're just towering over people, even seated. Um,
I think if I'm not mistaken, they're like among the tallest people in the world. Like like Belgian people on average are not even close, you know. So it's true, yeah.
So not, of course, your legs are extended on a bike. So that was kind of dumb to say, but like people are really tall. It's just
I know
I
what he's
hear that
talking about,
before
yeah.
I travel there, but actually being there and seeing how big some of these people are, crazy. The next thing we're going to get into is communication and directness. And this is
Mm.
something I thought I was going to struggle with when visiting the Netherlands. I thought I was going to get offended. I thought that, I wouldn't be able to understand, or there would be some type of miscommunication or whatever. But the truth is, this ended up being something I really enjoyed about the Dutch, is
Yeah,
that you don't have to guess what they're thinking or what they want. They'll just
true.
tell you. And that's something I really appreciate, because in the United States, things are not that way at all. People will oftentimes say something and that's not what they mean. You have to kind of read between the lines and infer what their true intentions are, because people aren't direct here and they tend to beat around the bush, which is something I don't like about the United States,
Hmm.
and that's just how it is over here. But I
Yeah.
really appreciated the Dutch directness and the fact that
Yeah, yeah, me too. I like the Dutch directness. It's in Belgium, it's compared to the American situation. Like we're asking like, "Oh, how are you doing?" And they will answer like, "Oh, I'm fine," but they're actually not fine, and there's something going on in their life, like with their mom and dad when they're like older or something, or I don't know, with their children or things like that, or they have to pay a lot of money for something, and they feel not good about it. I don't know, something along those lines, and they want to talk about it, but they will just say like, "Oh, I'm doing fine," because that's what's expected to be said. So I know what he's talking about. Yeah, I love the darkness of the Dutch people as well. Yeah,
people don't feel the need to do that. They can just say what they think, and you just take it for that. You don't have to take offense to that, bro. Like, people can have differing opinions. It's fine. But here, oh my,
exactly.
it's a world war if something happens. Like, it's ridiculous. The next point I want to get into is the nature in the Netherlands. Oh my God, bro. I loved all of the natural beauty that the Netherlands had to offer. Of course, you're close to the seaside. There's tons of tulip fields, which I didn't get to see because it wasn't really
Mm.
tulip season when I was traveling there. How close you are to all that, I feel like 5 minutes out of Amsterdam, I'm already seeing farmland and things like that. That's not really something you get in the
Probably,
United
yeah.
States. If you're going to be in a city, usually you'll have to drive a decent amount just to get out into the city area. Like, it's just not that as easy as it is in the Netherlands. And you guys are also surrounded by all these canals. I mean, Netherlands is literally built on top of water. It's kind of an amazing engineering feat. Like, the fact that
It's
your
true.
guys' country hasn't just been washed underwater. Like, I read into that. It really is amazing making this possible, this country. But at the same time, that's why you guys have a housing crisis, because there's nowhere to put houses, bro. Like, it's such a
Yeah.
small country. There's so much water. But I really did appreciate all the natural beauty that the Netherlands had to offer. The canals, you're just walking through city center and you see a canal coming through. There's someone.
Yeah, there are a lot of canals in Amsterdam, for example. And but I think the housing problem that he's talking about is not only a Dutch problem, it's also a thing in Belgium here. Like, population is still growing, maybe not as fast as we were thinking earlier, but population is still growing, and we're building in height, like more skyscrapers. Uh, so yeah, we are finding solutions like that or trying out solutions like that to put people in houses, right? But I think it's going to be a problem worldwide. I would say in the near future, because population keeps growing, and yeah, where do all these people have to live, right? So I don't think that's like um, Dutch or like specific to the Netherlands, right?
Going paddleboarding or whatever. There's people sitting on the side of the canal. It's like nice sunny afternoon. Like, that stuff. It really does feel like heaven. Like, you can't get better than that, especially in a city. Next thing we're gonna get into is the food. And I didn't say this, but
Hmm.
it is the truth. A lot of people say that the Dutch food can be lackluster, or you guys don't have the best cuisine out of the world, which I don't agree with. And also,
Ah,
one mistake I really made when I was visiting Holland was not trying Indonesian food. I know you guys got really good
okay.
Indonesian,
Yeah.
and I just didn't try it. But yeah,
It's because it used to be a colony, so that's why. Um, in all honesty, I think like there are some great Dutch chefs. Don't get me wrong there, but like overall, I think Belgian food is more, it's a little bit better on average than Dutch foods. You know, so that's my honest opinion about it. Uh,
The fricandel special and croquet, those were both really good fried foods. I will say I
okay.
burned my mouth. Despite the warnings, everyone says don't bite in right away. What did I do? I bit in right away and
Yeah.
burned the top of my mouth off. So, another thing I really loved was the bruges. I say bruges like I had multiple, but I would have had multiple. That stuff was good. Like, really good quality bread, good quality meats. Like, you can just tell. And we don't have that type of stuff. I mean, I've
No,
reacted to a
no,
video on this channel about why United States bread is so garbage. Like, our bread
it
is
is.
meant to be on a shelf for over a week. It's not
Mm-hmm.
real bread. It's
It's
made
not
in a
real bread. It's not
laboratory.
fresh bread.
But the
Yeah.
bread that I was getting off the side of the street, you can tell it was baked fresh. All of their ingredients are fresh. And this is just cheap stuff too. This is not like I have to go to buy to some supermarket to get organic farm fresh food. Like no, this is off the side of the street. And that Dutch standard, that quality, like the standard.
You can have both. You can buy fresh bread from supermarkets. At least here in Belgium. I don't know if it's like really fresh in the Netherlands as well, and you think it is. It's safe to assume it is. And then you have like the fresh bakeries. So like they get up at 3 in the morning to break their fresh bread, stuff like that. And we have that as well in Belgium. I think that's great.
Standard of quality, even the baseline is so high. I was thinking that way not just when it comes to food, but also when it comes to quality of life. I thought that everyone was so happy. There was something tangible in the air about how people were feeling. You can just get that, you know? You can look at people, see how they're holding themselves. Do they look deflated? Do they look beat down? Do they look stressed? No, people look so happy, bro. Like people look like they didn't have a care in the world. And
Mm,
obviously that's a bit of an exaggeration, but
yeah,
seriously, guys, like I could really feel it and it had a profound effect on me during my visit. How happy and content people were with life. I felt like the Dutch really took their time to enjoy the little things in life, appreciate the small things, like maybe just sitting at a canal in the afternoon, taking a break, slowing it down. And that's what you
true.
guys are really good at, is enjoying life and not getting too sucked into all this other stuff like work and the news and everything like that. I know you guys got a lot going on too, especially being around all these other countries, but I just felt people were so stress free. Of course, there's always going to be stress, but
Yeah.
that was something that struck a chord with me, and I'm never gonna forget how happy I was when I was in Holland. Just
Yeah, I mean, in the last few years, I think it changed a bit. Like people are hustling more and doing some side jobs. Probably in the Netherlands, well, it will be similar in my opinion. But here in Belgium, especially in Flanders, there's a lot of people who are doing like a side job to have more money because our things are getting more expensive and we're not like earning more, particularly, yeah, like a little bit, but not compared to like inflation and stuff like that. So yeah, it didn't used to be a thing. It wasn't really a thing in the past. Like we did a full-time job and then that's it. And some people earn more than other people. That's like normal. But like a full-time job is like 40 hours here per week. And compared to America, that's not a lot because they work like, I don't know, 50, 60 hours. So it's like, that's crazy, right? And also when you get sick or you need something in America, it's tough. Like they push you to keep working, stuff like that. I don't know how it is now, but I think that's how it used to be. And here, if you're sick, then yeah, you can stay at home for like a few days or a week or something like that, and you still will be paid a little bit because we have such a good social system, right? And to take care of that, and that's a big difference, I think, with America. Yeah.
straight up. All right, guys, the next stuff we're going to get into is more about the partying culture, alcohol, and things like
Okay.
that. So, the first thing I have to say about alcohol is it was very cheap. Alcohol in
Yeah.
the Netherlands was stupid cheap. Like, you can get a bottle of wine for €3 easily, which is
Hmm.
not possible in the United States. If you want to get a bottle of wine for that cheap, it's going to be like the lowest possible quality wine. Like, and it might not even be that cheap. So that immediately was a huge shock. Like, how is alcohol this cheap, you know? And it's because you guys are so close to all these other countries. Like, there is
Hmm.
so much wine coming from France.
Spain,
There was so
Italy,
much beer. I
Belgium.
tried some Dutch beer.
Eh,
It was pretty good, honestly. I liked it. But there, Belgian beer, like
thank
you
you.
guys are so close to all these other countries, so it makes it very good
German beers. Don't forget about the German beers.
for trade, and especially when it comes to alcohol. I know I'm thinking of trade only in that one way, but priorities, guys. What can I say? Something also interesting about the drinking is, why can't I drink in public, bro? Why in Holland am I not allowed to drink in public? Okay, yes, maybe you guys have an amendment. You can drink on terraces or whatever. But, bro, so tell me, I can go to a beer garden and then just you're sitting out on the street in their little garden or whatever, and that's okay to drink because that's basically in public. But I buy a beer from the grocery store and I go out on the street and I'm not allowed to drink that. Like, that was something I felt weird because no one else was doing it. So when I did drink in public, I was doing it in kind of hidden areas where I couldn't really do it freely, you know? Cross the border into Germany and I could just run around the street with a bottle.
Okay.
So that's something I found really weird.
I think it's just the law. It's like similar in Belgium. We have a law you can be drinking in public. It's just against the law, period. It's a law here in Belgium, and I assume it's like a law it's safe to assume it's a law in the Netherlands as well. So you can drink on the terrace because it's public to some degree, but at the same time it's owned by the cafe, the pub, or the restaurant, or wherever you're going to drink. So it's not really, you know, completely public like a park or the sideway or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's not really the same, right?
How come in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, you can go into a shop and basically get any drug possible and just get off your mind on that? But you take a sip of alcohol out of a bottle in public, and that's not okay. Doesn't make
Well, the drugs are still illegal, if I'm not mistaken. They put up some legal shops a few months ago, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a little bit of a shift going on, but they were like still illegal, those drugs, and sold under the counter, right? So
make any sense to me. I'm sorry. And I know, listen, guys, I'm holding you to a really high standard because in the United States, you can't do any of this stuff like whatsoever. It's out of the question. But here in Holland, I was just like, why? Why can't I drink in public, bro? The Germans have got it. What's wrong with you? You guys need to learn from them. So if someone could explain to me that in the comments, like, how come you can smoke a joint in public but you can't drink a beer? What? And then that also goes into my next thing, like the whole drugs and weed and stuff. I made a bunch of mistakes in my vlogs. I said I was going to
oh.
coffee shops when in reality I was going to cafe. So that was pretty
Okay.
funny hearing what you guys had to say in the comments about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, there were a lot of these coffee shops or whatever everywhere in Netherlands. Like, and people were smoking
Those are the shops that I was talking about, like where you can sell drugs, in particular weed, under the counter, right?
marijuana everywhere in Netherlands. Like, I
Mm,
feel like no matter where I went, it was always there to some degree. You know, that's interesting. Currently in the United States, we're on the road to legalization. There's still some states that haven't legalized it, and some that have. I don't believe it's federally legal yet. So it's just interesting seeing the way the world is moving with that. I know Netherlands has been like a hub for that for the longest, but just across the border in Germany, I think they just legalized it in April of this year. So things are changing a lot and at a
yeah.
rapid pace. So it's crazy. My last thing I want to talk about is just about Dutch people in general. I think
Okay.
that I really, really like the way that Dutch people are. Like,
Mm,
all the Dutch people I talked to, they were super friendly. And the biggest thing I recognize in all of them is open mind.
hmm.
Very open minded people,
True.
willing to engage in a conversation, willing to help out, and just good people, in my opinion. I think the Dutch are really good people. And, you know, they get crap for being direct, or, you know, someone steps in the bike lane and they That's how you get a Dutch person mad. Do not
Yeah,
step in
yeah,
their
do
way in
not
the
step
bike
in
lane. But
bike lane.
as long as
That's
you don't
that's because there are a lot of bikers, so I can kind of understand it. It's like if you're walking on the bike lane where you're not supposed to walk, they will be ringing the bell or shouting like "get out of the way" or something that you can expect it when like uh, you know dozens bikers are coming around. Just don't walk there.
do that, and you shouldn't really be doing that anyways. But
Yeah,
as long as you don't
true.
do
It's not
that, like
safe.
they are some of the nicest people. They'll always be willing to help you out, give you directions, have a conversation. So I couldn't be happier with my visit to the Netherlands, and this will not be the last time I come over there. Like this country left a lasting impression on me. I was only there for a week. I tried to see as much as possible. Went to a music festival in Netherlands, which was crazy as well. So make sure you guys watch that video. I
Mm,
had an amazing time,
okay.
guys. So I really appreciate you all watching the vlogs. I definitely plan on doing some more Netherlands reactions on this channel. So for
Hmm.
those of you who are subscribed, you're going to be getting some content. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, guys, I hope you all are doing well and have had a good summer. We're now into fall, so it's been some time since I visited the Netherlands. I've had some time to collect my thoughts, and this is just a video I wanted to put out here to kind of summarize what were some of the biggest shocks I had on this trip.
Mm.
If you enjoyed
All
this
right.
video, make sure you hit the like button, consider hitting that subscribe button, and with that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.
I think he's right about most things. Like I can see where he's coming from with these cultural shocks that he's talking about. Like there are some big difference between America and Europe in general, and then of course if you go to the Netherlands, for example, specifically, yeah, he will be surprised indeed about alcohol and drugs and public transport, things like that, and the directness of the people. Yeah, I think overall he's right about that it could be cultural shock for anyone not coming from the Netherlands. Yeah. So I think it's a decent video. It's a good video. So go and give him a like and subscribe for more of his content.